We've just done an organisational restructure. Previously we were in a technical services arm. Now we are in a corporate services arm with communications and with our people services areas, and that's a change that was put through in October of last year. The structure itself at a detailed level was announced in just a couple of weeks ago, in February of this year. But we'd been making reporting line changes and shifts within our structure on the way through. We will now make the final structural changes and particularly capability shifts over the next 3 to 5 months. For some people it's going to change their jobs. For some it is going to change the capabilities that they need, but again using industry benchmarks. So we've been very open with them all the way through around getting them to look at what the emerging trends are in industry around how services are delivered, what capabilities do they need, both to work with vendors but also to benchmark themselves against vendors for similar services. So they're very strongly engaged. They are, from what I can see, also scanning the environment actively themselves and bringing new things into the conversation. The final numbers, I think our cuts will be in the range of around 15%. I think from around 165 down to 128. We drove our reduction in numbers through a very a functional review that was run around benchmarking ourselves against where the industry is heading over the next 5 years. So we didn't take here is our target number, what do we do to deliver our current services in the way we do them with just less people. We've been very open with it, and we use Yammer internally as an internal social media tool, and we've used that as a key engagement tool right through the restructure. So we've had very, very strong engagement from our staff. It's a draft structure put out for comment. They've suggested areas where we could possibly look at doing things differently, and they're having conversations to and fro on both the original proposals and alternatives. They've suggested right down to different names for sections. They've asked questions because we're introducing some new ways of doing things. We're going from application management to a service management layer, not the historic iTool service management, but the way that industry is managing end-to-end services. We are introducing different ways of working with our vendors in terms of what services do we deliver internally, what do we outsource through commodity services, and again the staff have engaged really well through that. Where our next major rewrite of our strategy will be at the end of this calendar year. By that stage, the organisation will have completed their broader organisational restructure, and that's, as I say, has only just been announced. And we had the advantages of our functional review, so to some extent we're a little bit ahead in that respect. But once our organisational restructure and priorities have been reviewed, we will also be looking at getting where our industry is also going through, I think, a range of changes at the moment, with changing to some extent how they bring cloud services and things like that to the plate. We are looking at as simple things such as, do we continue to buy devices, or we'd be preferring to procure services. That's the sort of thing that I would expect to see reflected far more prominently in our new strategy. We also have the Victorian Government ICT strategy now just been released. We'll be looking to leverage off that far more with our next rewrite of our own internal strategy.